Hi, this is Jamie with Reichhardt Electronic Innovations. We're at Titan Machinery in Glendon, Minnesota. We're just about 5 miles out of Sabin, Minnesota. Titan Machinery was nice enough to let us have access to this Case 4420 Patriot. What we're going to do today is we're going to install the Reichhardt tactile roll feelers onto the Patriot, and our goal here is to demonstrate how the HFL brackets fit onto the Patriot sprayer. So there's been some evolution with the Reichhardt product. Traditionally on a Case Patriot we would have a toolbar, and we'd have some drop down arms that were spring loaded with some electric actuators. And the evolution of this product has brought us to a crop divider that we're currently sourcing. These particular crop dividers are sourced from HFL out of Ontario, and HFL has started to prepare them Reichhardt Ready, and you'll get to see the features of that throughout this video. So we have one installed over on the left side. We just worked on that here a few minutes ago and finished that up. Now we're going to go through a series of installing this one. And you can see we've got some basic tools laid out. There's some common standard size hardware that's utilized in mounting the brackets. We're going to always take safety serious. We're going to have our safety protection on. We do have a coffee with us today, so we're going to get started on that. By the way, it was 18 below this morning, so it's nice and warm here in this shop. So the way the HFL bracket works, maybe we can take a couple shots of the one that's installed over there to show you what the finished product looks like. So a couple things we learned on the first install is we have this pre-formed bracket. It's going to fit over the lower assembly of the steering mechanism. But we learned that we want to pre-assemble this forward plate before we install that up here. So that's going to fit just like this with standard hardware. So we have our hardware installed. It's standard 3/4 inch. And it does use lock nuts, and so we suggest that you always use locking hardware or some type of Loctite material. Alright, so this product is going to fit up here. So you want to make sure you get the front U-bolt on and not tighten it before you set the second one, so you got a little bit of play in it. Get her totally tight on the final. Okay, we have our bracket fully mounted. We've got the U-bolts on, and we have them tightened up. We're using split ring lock washers on that, so we should be nice and tight. And we're going to finish the assembly. So we've got a pivot bracket here that has to drop in. We've got 4 options of different heights that we can set at. We're going to go with the lowest one right now. We're going to line that up, push that through. Easier said than done. Once we got that through, we're going to take our pin, get back in here, get that in position. That gives us the ability to adjust the height of the crop divider. Right now I'm going to just go with that height there, looks good. Alright, so our bracket is on, we've got our pivot point installed. Now we come over here to the crop divider that's already been mounted up with the Reichhardt roll feeler. It's going to fit over the... Okay, once you get that lined up, you can drop your pin in. You'll notice that we have some options here, some adjustment holes, and currently we're about 16 inches from the tire. You can actually drill additional holes, and I think the kits that we'll be sending out for 2018 will have additional holes drilled in them, so if you want to cut the aluminum stock and hug in a little closer to the tire, you can. 16 inches is an acceptable distance from the tire to the TAC sensor mount. So that's it. We got the crop divider on. One of the things that we have to take care is to make sure that our TAC sensor is dead center on the tire. We've got a standard 9/16 inch U-bolt adjustment that we can do here. And it's critical that we're dead center. So some of the advantages of going to the crop divider mount is if we're doing some custom spraying and you're going from a 30-inch row spacing to a 20 or 22-inch row spacing, now your tactile row sensor is going to move with your wheels as you move in and out. So that's been a great advantage. U-bolts are important because they're the fuse. They are the weak link by design, so that if you do have a situation where you bury the machine, you get it stuck, the idea is this is your breakaway right here. All right. Right now we're gonna adjust this over and get it centered. So once we get that centered up, then we can come back and tighten it. Okay. So in addition to having the square to round stock U-bolt that acts as a breakaway, we also have our pivot point up here that's going to allow the HFL crop divider to climb up in the event we're going through a steep waterway or some terrain that's going to require it to come up. Okay, so we have everything installed, and the Reichhardt tactile roll feelers are actually, the paddle is actually 48 inches wide, and we, by design, we leave that the full 48 inches regardless if we're running 20, 22, or 30-inch row spacing. The reason we do that is it's a very flexible set paddle, and you can see you can back up with it. Very robust. We have some paddles that have been running on combines with documented over 30,000 harvest acres, multiple seasons, cold temperatures, warm temperatures. It's been a very good product for us. So having the paddle be 48 inches wide, we like to leave it longer so that we're in narrower crops. We actually get a full read on the paddle. So instead of having ratcheting, it gets a smoother read because we're picking up 2 to 3 stalks depending upon the seed spacing. And like I think I showed you, you can back up with this thing, and it's going to stay intact. It's going to be very durable. Right now it's in a resting position, and we calibrate this as neutral. And this is important because if we come to a waterway or a drowned out spot, we're going to be in operation mode like this. We're going to have good readings. If that paddle goes to neutral, the controller is going to ignore that. It's going to recognize that, it's going to ignore it, and it's going to read off of one side. If both paddles go to neutral, the controller is going to recognize that, and it's going to hold the axle position until it starts to get an input again. You'll notice that we've got the sensor height on this particular machine set up at about 12 inches off the ground. We've found that the sweet zone is between 12 and 18 inches. You want to be as high as you can and still get a good activation on the paddle. So corn height needs to be between 3 and 4 feet. All right, so that takes us through the installation of the HFL crop divider. That is Reichhardt Ready. HFL crop divider is going to come a shield so that when the crop divider is removed, we want to come up here and we want to offer some protection. So if we're doing some different spray applications, we've got this plate here that can be installed. And that's going to provide a little bit of a divider shield for any crop that's in the area in the way.